The teaching den fell silent as the young Vraxian cubs settled onto their haunches, their obsidian claws scraping softly against the metal floor. Nima stood before them, her human frame dwarfed by even the youngest of the predator species, yet none of the 12 cubs questioned her authority. The scars that traced her arms and neck spoke a language older than words. "Today," Nima began, her voice steady despite the weight of 24 amber eyes fixed upon her, "we discuss forgiveness." A confused rumble passed through the cubs. The eldest, a male named Kor, whose shoulder already reached Nima's chest, tilted his massive head. "Forgiveness? This word is not in our battle cant." "No," Nima agreed, a sad smile touching her lips. "It wouldn't be." The Vraxians were apex predators from a death world that made Earth look like a garden paradise. They had conquered 40 systems before they encountered humanity. The war had lasted 3 brutal years until both species realized they were destroying each other over a misunderstanding. The Vraxians didn't have a concept of surrender or diplomacy. They only understood victory or death. Humanity taught them there was a third option: coexistence. "Forgiveness," Nima continued, rolling up her sleeve to reveal a jagged scar that ran from wrist to elbow, "is choosing not to carry hatred for a wound already healed." Kor leaned forward, his nostrils flaring as he scented the old injury. "That is Vraxian claw work, 4th Battalion pattern. Battle of Proxima Station." "Yes." Nima's voice didn't waver. "Your father's battalion," the den erupted. Cubs jumped to their feet, claws extending instinctively, their predatory instincts screaming that this human should be enemy, should be prey, should be dead for daring to stand before the son of her attacker. But Nima didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't reach for the plasma pistol at her hip that everyone knew she carried. "Sit," she commanded, and the authority in her voice, the same authority that had led human soldiers through hell, cut through their instincts. The cubs sat. Kor remained standing, his massive frame trembling. "My father killed humans, killed your packmates. How do you stand before me without attempting to claim blood debt?" Nima met his eyes, unflinching. "Because you are not your father, Kor, and I am not my scars." She walked closer to him, close enough that any of the cubs could have ended her life in a heartbeat. This was the thing that terrified and fascinated the Vraxian elders' humans' inexplicable ability to stand within killing range and choose trust instead of fear. "Your father wounded me at Proxima Station," Nima said softly. "He was following orders, protecting his pack, doing what he thought was right. I was doing the same." She placed a hand on her chest. "The war took pieces from all of us. Your father lost his left eye in that same battle. I gave him that wound." Kor's claws retracted slightly. "Why, oh, you fought my father?" "I survived your father," Nima corrected. "Barely, but when the war ended and both our species chose peace, I had a choice to make." She turned back to address all the cubs. "Every human who survived the Vraxian war had this choice. We could hold on to our hatred, nurse our wounds, teach our children to fear and despise you. Or ... She gestured to the teaching den, to the carefully designed space where human educators worked alongside Vraxian cubs, building something unprecedented in galactic history. "Or we could forgive." A smaller cub, barely past her first molt, raised a tentative claw. "But Teacher Nima, forgiveness sounds like ... weakness. Like surrender. Does it?" Nima pulled up her other sleeve, revealing a patchwork of scars, burn marks, and the telltale signs of vacuum exposure. "I fought in 17 major engagements. I led a battalion. I earned 3 commendations for valor. I killed to protect my species." Her eyes hardened. "I am not weak. None of the humans who chose forgiveness are weak." She let that sink in before continuing. "Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's not pretending the wounds don't exist. It's not even saying that what happened was acceptable." She traced the scar on her arm. "Forgiveness is looking at the being who hurt you and deciding that you both deserve a chance to be something more than your worst moment." Kor's voice was barely a whisper. "My father speaks of you. He says you are the human who taught him that honor could exist outside of victory." Nima nodded slowly. "And he taught me that an enemy could become an ally. That's what forgiveness gave us both the freedom to grow beyond the war." She walked to the center of the den, addressing all the cubs now. "The galaxy expects you to be warriors, conquerors, apex predators who know only domination. And you are those things. It's in your blood, your claws, your teeth." Her voice rose with passion. But humans have been apex predators on Earth for millennia, and we learned something crucial. The strongest predator is the one who knows when not to kill. That's insane, one of the cubs muttered. Is it? Nima challenged. Your species conquered 40 worlds and were trapped in endless conflicts, constantly defending territory, unable to advance your civilization because you were always at war. Humanity offered peace, offered forgiveness, offered alliance. Now Rexan science and human ingenuity are mapping new star systems together. Rexan warriors and human soldiers protect shared colonies. Your cubs learn in our schools. She looked directly at Kor. Forgiveness didn't make us weaker. It made both our species stronger than either could be alone. Kor slowly lowered himself to the floor. His massive form finally relaxed. Teacher Nema ... Will you tell us about my father? About the battle? Nima smiled, a genuine warmth breaking through the gravitas of the lesson. I will, but I'll tell you about his courage, his tactical brilliance, and how he saved his entire battalion when their transport was damaged. I'll tell you why I respect him, even though we were enemies. That is forgiveness? Kor asked. That, Nima said, is one face of it. Forgiveness has many faces. It's letting go of hatred. It's choosing mercy. It's building bridges over battlefields. It's standing here, teaching the cubs of warriors who once tried to kill me, and wanting only for you to grow into better beings than we were. She gestured to her scars one final time. These marks remind me of what we survived. But they don't define what we can become. The cubs sat in silence, processing. Finally, the smallest one spoke up. Will you teach us more about humans? About forgiveness? Every day, Nima promised. That's why I'm here. As the lesson ended and the cubs filed out, Kor lingered. Teacher Nima. My father asked me to give you something. He produced a small token of Raxian honor mark, typically given to fallen warriors. He says to tell you, the warrior who defeated him taught him to live beyond the battle. Nima accepted the token, her eyes shining with unshed tears. Tell your father that the warrior he wounded taught me the same lesson. In the empty teaching den, Nima looked at her scars and smiled. They were no longer wounds. They were stories. They were lessons. They were proof that even between species who had tried to destroy each other, forgiveness could forge something beautiful. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or their tactics. It was their incomprehensible ability to forgive the unforgivable and build futures from the ashes of war. That was what made them truly terrifying. That was what made them truly remarkable. That was humanity. Retry.